If you are new to this channel, I document my MMA journey. I talk about learning how to fight. I film my live vlogs. And that's really because martial arts blends into so much of my life already. So one thing about me, and honestly it's probably a thing that people either like or don't like about me, and I don't care at all, but one thing about me is that I will never sugarcoat nothing, and I'll never try to sell somebody on a dream. So a while back I had a conversation with this 25-year-old dude, and mind you, we was just chopping it up about, you know, just fighting and UFC stuff. And so of course, me training, I love to talk about martial arts and fighting. But this guy was talking about how he wanted to someday make it into the UFC and become a UFC champion. 25, no training, hasn't started training yet, hasn't even been interested in starting training yet, but just thinks that within the next few years or so, with enough dedication, they'll be able to become a UFC champion. Now, first thing first, bro, I want to say that I'm not here to make fun of nobody. I'm not here to call anybody out. I'm not here to degrade nobody, nothing like that. I'm just here to, again, try to be a realist and give my take on this and just my opinions on a 25-year-old with zero training wanting to join the UFC. I'm going to tell you this right now, that I truly believe, in all honesty, bro, that you have a lot of things stacked against you. Like, if you're 25 and you're telling me right now that your goal is to try to become a UFC champion one day, the odds are so much stacked against you. If you were to tell me something more realistic, like you 25, you don't have any training, but you want to do a couple of amateur fights, or you want to fight at a pro level, but you just know that the UFC is a pretty far stretch, then I could be like, yeah, you know what, I can totally agree with you, bro. Like 25, you could still be like, you could still hella grind from like 25 to like 28, you know, from 25 to 30, put in 3 to 5 years of training, and probably even fight at a professional level still. Like, don't get it twisted, bro. But we talking about the UFC, and we're talking about becoming a UFC champion, like a top tier fighter. A top tier fighter. Not, you know, there's levels to not only fighting, bro, but there's levels to professional fighting. I mean, professional fighting is professional fighting, don't get me wrong. And I have major respect for amateur fighters, professional fighters, active fighters. I have nothing but major respect for them. But y'all gotta realize, man, like, even within the professional bracket, like, there's major levels to this, man. I mean, even being in the top 15 in the world, like, do you understand that that is no joke? You feel me? And again, with some of these young guys, and I know you're young, bro, and you may be young, and it's like, yo, I'm young, I'm this and that, I got something to prove, right? And I feel you, bro, I get it, but you got to think about how many things are stacked against you. Like, you'll be going up to become a UFC champion, you'll probably be going up against people who've been training since they was kids, wrestled since they were 7 years old, who just grew up in an MMA gym. You know, like, I see even like some of these one championship fighters, like, they have families that are like into fighting, bro. Some of us, like, our dads and our moms, like, some of us, our dads have never even been in a fight in our whole lives. You know, some of us have never even been around that, like, surrounded ourselves in that environment growing up. You know, some of us have never even put ourselves in that environment till we was older. You know, like, yeah, I'm gonna be a realist, bro. Like, if I'm going up against, like, as much as I am an MMA hobbyist and an avid trainer, if I'm going up against, like, a top fighter, dude, I'm getting mollywopped, bro. Like, I am getting destroyed. And yeah, I can fully say that. You know, like, some people are just really built different, and it takes one to know one when you train, bro. Like, I swear, man, when you train, you really start understanding more of like, wow, like, there's a lot of people out here that are just straight animals. Again, bro, like, don't get me wrong, man, like, part of being in an MMA gym is learning how to hold your own. Like, I understand that, man. I don't think people understand, like, just how early on some others start and how much of a head start others have already had on you if you're 25 with no training. Again, I try to be a realist, right? So let's put it into a situation where, let's say you're 25, you have very well-off parents, or you have a large sum of money to live off of, you can afford really high quality food, you have very good health care, you can afford recovery, massages, whatever it is that you need to do. Like, pay for coaches, pay for gym membership, pay for chiropractor, you like, if you get messed up, like your back is tweaked during training, you got money to cover that. You got a lot of it has to do with money and having a high income. Like, I'm just gonna be real with you, bro. Like, if you 25 and you got your basic needs of living taken care of, I would say yes, like, you have way more higher of a chance. Like, again, you have a higher chance if you a 25-year-old and you got children, you got a family to take care of. Like, I respect that, right? But, like, let's just be real. If you're 25 or you older, you got a family to take care of, you got responsibilities already, you got a job, you got this and that, you got an important position at work, you've already got a degree in college and you're doing this, or you pulled out a loan, so you got to finish. Like, there are so many other things stacked against you if you are in that kind of situation or in those kinds of positions as a 25-year-old. And on top of that, trying to make it to the UFC. It is one thing to go to the gym and train hard, but it is a whole nother thing to get off after an 8-10 hour shift, working your ass off to pay for your bills, and then somehow trying to find that extra energy that you have to drive yourself to the gym, put your feet on the cold mats, stretch, and it doesn't matter how achy you are, don't matter how tired you are, don't matter that you gotta work the next day at 5 in the morning. It's like, you basically gotta view it as like fun at that point. Like, and I know that there are people that have and can do it, and the utmost respect for them, bro. Like, the utmost respect for them. But I mean, like I said, bro, like, this shit's not built for everybody, man. Like, I'm for sure not built for that, bro. Like, I am for sure not built for working a full-time job and being able to train. Like, training to be in the UFC is basically a full-time job. So, like, you trying to balance 2 full-time jobs, like, if you don't have that, if you don't gotta work 8 to 10 hours a day, all you gotta do is wake up and focus on training, much higher chance. But I just also want to point out that I feel some people really underestimate the injuries and the other things that potentially come with trying to be a UFC champion, bro. Like, these UFC champions are not, yes, they're UFC champions. But, man, like, if you see a lot of these fighters' pics, bro, like, they got broken noses, knee replacement, shoulder replacement surgeries, like, torn ligaments, neck issues, back issues. Like, their bodies are so beat up, and to think that you're gonna go on top and make it out on top like that without ever being in pain, ever being in a world of hurt, like, bro, it is something else. Some of these injuries are long term. Some of these injuries that happen in a fight, they don't just, like, stop there. Like, somebody gets knocked out horribly, yeah, that sucks, right? Like, or somebody gets their nose broken in a fight, yeah, that sucks, right? But it's like, dude, that is something that's gonna take months to recover from. You feel me? Like, dude, even doing this as a hobbyist, bro, like, I've broken my hand twice already. I've injured my neck, my shoulder, like, all kinds of stuff, man. You know, like the list goes on. I'm not here to talk about myself, but yeah, bro, like even just being a hobbyist, it comes with a crazy amount of injuries. And that you have to think about, if you are a 25-year-old with no training trying to get into the UFC. I mean, scratch that, bro. Even if you's a 23-year-old, a 22-year-old, a 21-year-old with no training trying to get into the UFC, you just have to think that there are people out there that are also trying to get into the UFC, that are also trying to be in the position that you want to be in, but they probably have more money. They probably have been training longer than you. You probably have parents that are, I don't know, well off, fortunate. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many circumstances, and there's so many people that want what you want as far as becoming the UFC champion goes. Like, and to be honest with you, man, I've heard that so many times. Like, again, not to bash on bro, but I've literally heard so many times dudes being like, oh yeah, dude, I just want to make it to the UFC. I want to become UFC champion. I want to come. It's like basically waking up and being like, oh, I want to be an astronaut one day, but not actively making any moves to become an astronaut. Like, bro, it's just put my opinions out there. Really, man, I'm just a guy on the internet, bro. I'm just an Asian dude that be doing martial arts, and I love fighting. So just take it as it is. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know if you disagree with me. But if you disagree with me, I would really like to know your thoughts. Share them down below in the comments section. Let's have a discussion. Other than that, man, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all next time.